Didn't trip coming up the stairs, which is always a great start. I would just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting, pay my respects to their elders past and present, and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. I'm Carolyn Hamilton, Director of Digital Design and Innovation at the Department of Premier and Cabinet. I have been asked to step in at the last minute, so I will be somewhat dependent on my notes today, but hopefully everything will go well. Digital is a medium that is rapidly changing how the world works. It has the power to connect. Equally, it has the power to divide. Digital has the power to remove barriers and provide equitable access while also creating silos and disadvantage. Plus, through technologies such as artificial intelligence, edge computing, it has the power to fundamentally change the way organisations operate. For government, the medium brings immense opportunity, but also the need to transform if we are to take advantage of the opportunity that the medium brings. The Digital Design and Innovation team is one of those in government focused on driving digital transformation, and for us this means experimenting. We like to experiment to see how the medium can be used to drive new and different interactions, focusing on identifying and delivering key digital public infrastructure that will help transformation happen in a sustainable way, providing guidelines and tools that help other government departments create better digital services. Today, I will give you a few examples of services we are working on and that I hope will drive robust discussion later. One of the things that is driving our areas of focus is the core reason for our branch's existence, and that's basically to improve Victorians' lives. So the first service that I would like to talk about is Engage Victoria. Engage Victoria is one of the first products that we delivered for government. It is our whole of Victorian government community engagement service. The platform is mandated as the tool through which our departments engage our community for public consultation and collaboration opportunities. On a side note, it's also increasingly being used by government to collaborate and survey itself. It offers departments access to a set of 9 engagement tools they can use to construct a consultation with the community, analytical tools to extract maximum value from data collected, and a customer relationship management tool. By providing a persistent location for online engagement to take place, we've been able to create an audience engaged with the Victorian government who are willing to participate in the democratic process. So, why did we build it? Prior to its delivery, our consultation offering was extremely fragmented and costly. Fragmentation is an important theme across many government services and ways of doing things. We found situations where government was repeatedly going to market for the same tool, resulting in duplicated spend and a lot of wasted effort. Government procurement processes and timelines resulted in many cases of more time spent procuring the tool than developing the engagement plan for running a consultation. And this meant that the effectiveness of the consultation was actually reduced. People didn't put the time into thinking about, do we need to run a consultation? Does the data that we're looking for already exist? How are we going to run the consultation? Which audience are we looking for? What type of questions do we want to ask? And which tools are the best tools that the audience we're trying to target is going to respond to best? Although the argument for using Engage or creating Engage Victoria was going to be easier if purely based on financial measures, the solution that DDI put forward was not about cost. We focused on how we as a government needed to understand and use digital to enhance our operations. As we saw it, the fragmented approach to public consultation presented a real problem because we were constantly building an audience from scratch instead of building an engaged audience and using it as a point through which to start engagement, we started from a blank slate every time. In many cases, once a consultation was carried out, the gathered data and customer lists were archived and never used again. And like most real problems, there were real opportunities that we saw for government. Using the connective power of digital to engage with our audiences and provide them easy ways to engage with us. Using greater processes and analytical capability and digital tools brings better analysis to the data that we capture. As I said in the introduction, a focus on technology alone won't deliver the benefits we were looking for. So along with the technology, we have set about providing guidelines and tools so that people using our tools get the most out of the medium. The rollout and development of the Engage Victoria platform was as much a change management and skills exercise as a digital project. We created a new authorising environment to give consultation managers in Victoria the tools they needed to push back on poorly designed consultations. We developed a consultation strategy template that asks staff to identify why are they engaging, who is it for, what is negotiable in the project, what questions do they want to ask, and how will they reach the interested and impacted stakeholders. That last is a pretty vital question because often people think that a digital solution will deliver 100% of the audience, but occasionally we have found that 100% of the audience is not even digital. We ensured that teams understood effective consultation requires experienced staff with a clear set of goals and targets. Planning process also asks staff to develop a privacy impact assessment based on what they want to collect, whether they require translation services, and to ensure that their content is accessible for people using assistive screen reader technology. And we introduced a new operating model to make the new model work. The Central Engage Victoria team provides training across all departments and agencies. Training is provided either face-to-face or through video conferencing because Victoria has a lot of people in government working in regional locations and remote locations. We also have training sessions to show staff how to use the content management system, including feedback and reporting tools. Pages are built by the team and reviewed for clarity and consistency prior to publishing. In running it, project owners are responsible for the running and compliance of their projects. So it's an area of accountability that we spent a lot of time discussing and realised we can't afford to be accountable for how every single piece of collaboration is offered. So what we're offering is software as a service, training as a service, but you remain accountable for how you run your collaboration. This includes executing communication strategy to reach your stakeholders, update the content, and publish progress reports on how many people are visiting and participating on the pages. When it comes to analysing and reporting, a strength of the platform is that authorised staff can download feedback and analyse the results. The quantitative feedback, multiple choice, ranking questions, they're visualised automatically by the platform. Qualitative free text responses, though, do need to be analysed by a human being to identify key trends and topics. DDI is currently working to see how machine learning can help that last step by searching for key topics and phrases. During the evaluation phase of any collaboration project, a lessons learned review meeting is conducted with staff to understand what worked and what didn't work on a consultation, to understand how it can be done better next time, and those lessons learned are fed through into community of practice across government, Victorian government. Website polls ask participants how the website might be improved, and the main feedback today is simplify the front page so that individual projects are easier to find. And we're currently developing new concepts that look at including maps and event calendars. We use Google Analytics to track scroll depth and clicks to see what types of page design increase the participation rates. But we also have great respect for the insights that might be available in the data itself. So Engage Victoria works with data insights analysts within DDI branch. This capability has been created over the last year and a half on a separate project, and they're using business intelligence tools working with the Engage Victoria team to provide in-depth insights. Other strengths of the Engage Victoria platform and the central services is that it improves situation awareness by offering access to a diverse range of community sentiment. It enhances decision making by improving the quality of actionable information. It improves expertise by giving all participating departments and agencies exposure to training and guidance, policies and frameworks. It improves service design and delivery by harnessing citizen input at all stages. It strengthens longer-term relationships with communities by providing the opportunity for ongoing dialogue with government and helping them learn about how their feedback is used. One of the important features of Engage Victoria is it allows the public to sign up and share with their network, particularly their social network, upcoming consultations. This increases the traffic to the consultations through the central consultation hub, and we end up with a registered user list. I believe we currently have about 35,000 Victorians registered for the Engage Victoria platform now. The use and growth slide, which I showed a little bit too soon in my excitement, through our combination of change management, governance and skills uplift, we've seen some great uplifts in the digital community engagement here in Victoria. It's been an important response to growing community and citizen expectation that their voices are heard and considered as part of the policy-making process. In consolidating the delivery of online engagement across government, Engage Victoria has also opened up policy processes to new ideas, techniques and voices in order to co-create public value. This is meeting the key strategic policy and priority of DPC to better engage citizens in policy decision making. One of the benefits that we've learned through earlier research was that the earlier you can engage with citizens in policy decision making, the better the fit of the policy and the better acceptance of change that any policy may bring. Engage Victoria has been instrumental in informing legislation. For example, the Residential Tenancies Amendment Bill received thousands of submissions through the Engage Victoria platform. It went on to introduce 130 reforms to improve the rental sector. Our branch has also just finished a consultation on the Gender Equality Bill that is due before Parliament early next year. Engage Victoria has provided a skills uplift and better organisational structure. Sorry, is that 5 minutes to go? Oh, wow, okay. Sorry, didn't get a chance to time myself. And we're moving towards self-service through digital user guides and case studies. I'll leave these notes. I'm happy to publish them, and I'll flick you through the rest of the slide pack. You can see through annual visits to the Engage Victoria platform where we've had spike, the plastic bag ban, the Fisherman's Bend draft framework, the fairer and safer housing rental reform, and most recently the Mental Health Royal Commission, where we invited the public to co-design the terms of reference for the Mental Health Royal Commission, which were published in February, along with the names of the commissioners. Future of Our Forests was another collaboration where people were able to use mapping to let us know what the favourite parts of their forests are to help with better forest management by the Victorian Government. And the Baby Bundle enabled Victorians to nominate a book that they would like the Victorian government to include in a baby pack that will be given to Victorians from July this year. I can't tell you which books have been nominated because the process is still underway. In closing the loop, which is a critical step for the Engage Victoria platform, all progress on projects remains published on the platform. Next steps is to expand it and include event registration, improve storytelling using augmented reality, introduce voice recognition, and enable the older and culturally diverse communities to engage digitally through training on how to use digital. Or, where that doesn't work, use alternative engagement methods. Do I have time to talk about Pick My Project? Awesome. In 3 minutes. Okay. In 3 minutes, I can tell you, Pick My Project sent out to Victoria invited Victorians to submit their ideas of where they would like $30 million in government spending to be spent. Over a period of time, citizens submitted 2,600 ideas. These were assessed against the submission criteria, and 2,300 ideas went out to vote. 237 projects have successfully been funded for grants, and that funding has been entirely decided by citizens. $15 million of those grants have gone to regional and remote Victoria, and that was by design. And that was to ensure equitable spending, because one of the difficulties we have as a state is the perception of a focus on the metropolitan population. Objectives that you can see was basically, and I think the top one was to empower Victorians to tell the government where they wanted government money to be spent, do it in a fair and equitable way, and reduce the cost of grants administration. A minimum of 30 projects was shown in any geographic location, so in remote areas, the boundaries for what you could vote on might have been expanded. And voters who couldn't use mobile or digital were able to contact our call centre to cast their votes. Social media had a huge role in generating interest in the initiatives and the projects, and it also had a huge role so that anyone who submitted a project idea could actually gain traction in their local community to get votes for their ideas and therefore the grants funding. Progress updates continue to appear on social media pages. So outcomes, you can probably read faster than I can tell you, but I think the exciting thing is that 100,000 Victorians participated in choosing how $30 million was spent. And I think the other exciting thing was that smallest community of Nullawil. It only has 93 residents and was successful in getting a project funded. And I'm not sure that that funding would have been achieved by any other process. Our next steps is to use all the data that we've collected. The community's told us what's important to them. The project ideas may not have been successful, but those project ideas may have merit if you take it away from a voting process. And so that's all being collated and analysed so that we can potentially escalate some really good ideas for further examination. Because we're running out of time, what I'm happy to say is I'm more than happy to hang about after the closing ceremonies and talk to you about single digital presence. The single digital presence, we're basically transforming how the Victorian government delivers information to Victorian citizens to make it easier for them to find, access and use government information and apply it to their personal situation. The second part, I might have got a little bit too clicky there, is to reduce the cost and complexity for government of running websites. At the moment, we think the Victorian government has about 900 websites delivering information to Victorian citizens, and they tend not to be related to each other, so there's no real joined up journey for a citizen to follow. in the digital space, and in terms of managing the technology, it's extremely diverse technology solutions. So you can see that we're moving to software as a service, we're moving to central content services to create uplift across the Victorian government, but by no means are we planning on becoming a digital agency. We actually want digital agencies to use a toolkit that we're creating to make websites for the Victorian government, but make them in a way that they are similar in design, similar in look and feel, and assuredly accessible for people who need access. You can see another part is eliminating brands to build trust. Of those 900 websites, the majority of them have their own look and feel, and a lot of them have their own brand. So in terms of governance, what we will be introducing is use of brand Victoria for content that is clearly Victorian government content, regardless of the website that it appears on. If there is a Victorian government campaign, it is also clearly branded brand Victoria with an associated campaign brand, and then the citizens can actually trust the information that they're reading and trying to act on is Victorian government information. Independent brands, we understand, will be needed for independent organisations, particularly those that investigate government, but we will ensure consistent interaction design so that citizens don't have to relearn how to use a Victorian government website. A grant application process is a standard application process. An event calendar is a standard event calendar. But your content and your content information architecture will pretty much represent the needs of the audience that you're trying to communicate with. You can see we've applied the principles of holding brand Victoria and holding design for a variety of messages and for a variety of our clients. The family violence reform, the Buying for Victoria website, which is designed for people who are in government trying to buy for government and suppliers who are trying to supply to government, and the Victorian Aboriginal Heritage Council. Already we have early adopters. We were designing for DPC, Department of Premier and Cabinet, as a proof of concept, but Treasury and Finance, WorkSafe, the Victoria Police are already using either our hosting platform, our content management system, or our atomic design pattern library. The Department of Health and Human Services is also now talking to us about transitioning one of their major websites to this same platform. And it looks like it will reduce their costs from over $1 million to about $300,000 per year to run 5 websites with our platform and with this way of working. What's next? I'll let you read through that, but it's understanding how we might scale what's obviously going to be a practical solution for Victorian government website management, but also a really exciting solution for citizens so that they can actually get the information they're looking for really quickly and be able to use it. Citizens only interact with government because they have to, and so if we can make it easy, we're kicking some real goals. Thank you very much for your time. Apologies I had to race through those slides, but please come and talk to me.